Guess what was just born?
I can't.
Triplets.
Triplets?
She was exclaiming over the legal implications of triplets. The law said that no newborn child could survive unless the parents of the child could find someone who would volunteer to die. Triplets, if they were all to live, called for 3 volunteers.
Do the parents have 3 volunteers?
Last I heard, they had 1 and were trying to scrape another 2 up.
I don't think they made it. Nobody made 3 appointments with us. Nothing but singles going through today, unless somebody called in after I left. What's the name?
The waiting father sat up, red-eyed and frowsy.
Welling. Edward K. Welling, Jr. is the name of the happy father-to-be.
He raised his right hand, looked at a spot on the wall, gave a hoarsely wretched chuckle.
Present.
Oh, Mr. Welling, I didn't see you.
The Invisible Man.
They just phoned me that your triplets have been born,
said Dr. Hitz.
They're all fine, and so is the mother. I'm on my way to see them now.
Hooray.
You don't sound very happy.
What man in my shoes wouldn't be happy?
He gestured with his hands to symbolize carefree simplicity.
All I have to do is pick out which one of the triplets is going to live, then deliver my maternal grandfather to the happy hooligan, and come back here with a receipt.
Dr. Hitz became rather severe with Welling, towered over him.
You don't believe in population control, Mr. Welling?
I think it's perfectly keen.
Would you like to go back to the good old days when the population of the Earth was 20 billion, about to become 40 billion, then 80 billion, then 160 billion? Do you know what a druplet is, Mr. Welling?
Nope.
A druplet, Mr. Welling, is one of the little knobs, one of the little pulpy grains of a blackberry,
said Dr. Hitz.
Without population control, human beings would now be packed on the surface of this old planet like druplets on a blackberry. Think of it.
Welling continued to stare at the same spot on the wall.
In the year 2000, before scientists stepped in and laid down the law, there wasn't even enough drinking water to go around, and nothing to eat but seaweed. And still, people insisted on their right to reproduce like jackrabbits, and their right, if possible, to live forever.
I want those kids. I want all 3 of them.
Of course you do. That's only human.
I don't want my grandfather to die either.
Dr. Hitz was sympathetic.
Nobody's really happy about taking a close relative to the cat box.
I wish people wouldn't call it that.
What?
I wish people wouldn't call it the cat box and things like that. It gives people the wrong impression.
You're absolutely right. Forgive me.
He corrected himself with elaborate gravity and gave the municipal gas chambers their official title, a title no one ever used in conversation.
I should have said Ethical Suicide Studios.
That sounds so much better.
This child of yours, whichever one you decide to keep, Mr. Welling, he or she is going to live on a happy, roomy, clean, rich planet thanks to population control. In a garden like that mural there.
He shook his head.
2 centuries ago, when I was a young man, it was a hell that nobody thought could last another 20 years. Now, centuries of peace and plenty stretch before us as far as the imagination cares to travel.
He smiled luminously. The smile faded as he saw that Welling had just drawn a revolver. Welling shot Dr. Hitz dead.
There's room for one. A great big one.
And then he shot Leora Duncan, saying as she fell,
It's only death. There. Room for 2.
And then he shot himself, making room for all 3 of his children. Nobody came running. Nobody seemingly heard the shots. The painter sat on the top of his stepladder, looking down reflectively on the sorry scene. The painter pondered the mournful puzzle of life demanding to be born, and once born demanding to be fruitful, to multiply and to live as long as possible, to do all that on a very small planet that would have to last forever.